I never thought I'd be sharing my story on the internet, but here I am, trying to make sense of how my life turned upside down in just a few months. I'm 39, and until recently, I thought I had everything figured out. I had been married for 12 years to a man I'll call Marcus, who's 41, and I was helping raise his daughter Riley, who's now 16. I met Marcus when Riley was just a year old. Her birth mom wasn't in the picture. She had moved to another country shortly after Riley was born, deciding that parenthood wasn't for her. When Marcus and I started dating, he was clear that he wanted someone who would be a mother to Riley, not just his wife. I was completely on board with that. I loved kids, and Riley was such a sweet baby. We dated for 3 years before getting married, and those were some of the happiest years of my life. I watched Riley grow from a toddler into a little girl, and she started calling me Mom on her own when she was 4. I still remember that moment. We were at the park and she fell and scraped her knee. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Mom, it hurts." My heart just melted. For 12 years, we were the perfect family, or so I thought. Marcus and I both had good jobs, Riley was doing well in school, and we had just started planning a big family vacation for our upcoming anniversary. We were thinking about going to Europe, something we'd been saving up for. Plus, I had been secretly saving money for Riley's college fund since the day I married Marcus. I wanted to surprise her with it when she got her college acceptance letters. But then last month, everything fell apart. I was at work when I got an email from a woman named Carla. She worked with Marcus, and she had quite a story to tell me. For the past 8 months, she and Marcus had been having an affair. She wasn't just telling me this, she had proof. Pictures of them together, screenshots of their conversations, details about trips they had taken together when Marcus told me he was away on business. I felt sick reading through everything. But what hurt even more was learning that Riley knew about it all. She had been covering for her dad, making up excuses when he was with Carla, lying to my face. In exchange, Marcus had been buying her expensive things, new phones, designer clothes, concert tickets. I had noticed Riley getting more stuff lately, but Marcus had said he got a bonus at work. I believed him. I believed them both. I couldn't face them right away. I packed a bag and checked into a hotel. Then I did something impulsive. I went to the car dealership where I'd been eyeing this luxury SUV. I had been saving up for it but kept putting it off because I wanted to make sure we had enough for Riley's college and our anniversary trip. But sitting there in the hotel, reading those messages over and over, something in me snapped. I took the money from Riley's college fund and bought the car. When I finally went home to confront them, they both tried to act like they were worried about where I'd been. But as soon as I mentioned Carla's email, the act dropped. Riley started crying, saying she was confused and didn't know what to do. Marcus just stood there, silent. I told them I was done. Done with the marriage, done with the lies, and done with paying for Riley's college. Then I left in my new car. That was 3 weeks ago. Now they won't stop trying to contact me. Marcus keeps switching between begging for forgiveness and telling me I'm being cruel about Riley's college fund. Riley sends me messages saying she was just trying to protect her dad. But all I can think about is how they both betrayed me for months, looking me in the eye every day while lying to my face. I started staying with my friend Tara, who has a spare room. The hotel was getting expensive, and even though I could afford it after using Riley's college fund, I didn't want to waste money. Tara's been great through all of this. She's actually a therapist and suggested I should talk to someone professional about everything that happened. I'm thinking she might be right. The divorce papers are already filed. Marcus isn't fighting anything, which is honestly a relief. I don't think I could handle a messy court battle right now. But he and Riley still won't leave me alone. They keep finding ways to contact me even though I've blocked their numbers. They make fake email accounts, call from different phones, and even try to reach me through other people. At first, Marcus's messages were all about how sorry he was and how he'd do anything to fix things. But when he saw I wasn't responding, he changed his tune. He sent me this long message saying I was being selfish and cruel. He said he understood why I'd want to divorce him, but punishing Riley was going too far. That's when he told me he hadn't saved anything for her college because he knew about my savings plan. He'd been counting on that money. That made me even more angry. He'd known about the money I was saving, and he still let Riley help him cheat on me. And now he was trying to make me feel guilty about using my own savings? I didn't even bother responding to that message. Then Riley sent me this email that was different from her other messages. Usually, she'd just beg me to forgive her and say she needed the college money. But this time, She wrote about how Marcus had manipulated her into helping him. She said he started buying her expensive things before she even knew about the affair, then used those gifts to make her feel like she owed him her silence when she found out. She wrote about how torn she felt, knowing what her dad was doing was wrong but feeling trapped because he was her father. She said she'd lay awake at night feeling guilty about lying to me. But then her dad would buy her something new and tell her everything would be fine as long as she kept quiet. I wanted to believe her. Part of me still saw her as that little girl in the park calling me Mom for the first time. But another part of me remembered all the times she'd looked me in the eye and lied. She was 16, not 6. She knew what she was doing was wrong. I didn't respond to her email right away. Instead, I focused on finding my own place to live. I know I can't stay with Tara forever, and I need to start rebuilding my life. I quit my job too. I've been working nonstop since college, and for the first time, I have enough savings to take a break. I'm thinking about starting my own business. It's something I've always wanted to do, but kept putting off because I was worried about having stable income for Riley's college. My parents know about the divorce now. I held off telling them at first because I was still processing everything myself. When I finally told them, my mom cried and my dad wanted to drive over and have a talk with Marcus. I had to convince him that wasn't necessary. After telling my family, I made a simple post on social media announcing the divorce. I didn't give any details. The people who needed to know the truth already knew. It's been about 2 months since everything happened, and the divorce is almost final. We've been meeting with a mediator to sort everything out. Seeing Marcus at these meetings is hard. Every time I look at him, I feel angry and sad at the same time. But I get through the meetings by reminding myself that each one brings me closer to being done with this whole mess. I found a nice apartment and moved in last week. My friends visit often to check on me. I know they're worried I'll get lonely or depressed, but I'm actually doing okay with living alone. It's peaceful in a way I didn't expect. I started therapy too, like Tara suggested. It's helping me process everything. Riley's still sending me emails. She stopped asking about the college money and just tells me about her life now. What's happening at school, how her art classes are going, things like that. Every time I got one of these emails, I'd end up crying. Not because anything sad was happening to her, but because I missed her so much. Last week, I finally wrote back. I just told her I missed her. That's all I could manage to say. She replied quickly, saying she understood why I took away the college fund and that she didn't deserve it anyway. She told me she's planning to go to the local state college instead of her dream school in New York. She'll have to work part-time to help pay for it since Marcus won't take out any loans for her. Reading that made me feel conflicted. Part of me felt satisfied that she was facing consequences for what she did, but another part remembered how excited she'd been about going to art school in New York. She's been drawing since she was little. I still have her first stick figure family portrait hanging in my bedroom at the new apartment. We've been emailing back and forth since then. I told her I needed time before we could try to rebuild our relationship. She said she understood and would wait as long as I needed. She knows she broke my trust, and she's not pushing me to forgive her right away. I'm not sure what will happen with Riley and me. The trust we had is broken, and I don't know if it can be fixed. But I'm leaving that door slightly open. Not for Marcus. That door is firmly closed. I've learned that sometimes the people closest to us can hurt us the most, but that doesn't mean we have to let that hurt define us forever. For now, I'm focusing on myself. I'm working on my business plan, meeting with potential investors, and learning to be on my own again. My apartment is starting to feel like home, and I'm making peace with this new chapter in my life. It's not the life I planned to have, but maybe that's okay. Sometimes the best things in life come from starting over. The divorce will be final next month. I know there will still be hard days ahead, but I'm stronger now than I was 2 months ago. I've learned that it's possible to miss someone and still know that keeping your distance from them is the right thing to do. I've also learned that it's okay to take care of yourself first sometimes, even if other people think you're being selfish. I don't know if Riley and I will ever be as close as we once were, but I'm learning to be okay with that uncertainty. Life doesn't always give us clear answers or happy endings, but it does give us chances to rebuild, restart, and choose our own path forward. That's what I'm doing now, choosing my path and walking it one day at a time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.